We have a roll call, please.
Mr. Wakilski,
Here.
Mr. Meehan,
Here.
Ms. Divanazia,
Here.
Mr. Hetrick,
Here. Here.
Mr. Murray.
Here.
Mr. Balin is absent. Ms. Minson.
Here.
Mr. Weissman.
Here.
Mr. Lynch.
Here.
Mr. Semrat is absent. Mr. Pasternak,
Here.
Mr. Henry,
Here.
and Ms. Bonzwitch is here.
Notice this meeting has been provided through resolution adopted by the mayor and council on December 16, 2024. It's a regular meeting of the mayor and town council at Boonton Town Hall, 100 Washington Street, Boonton, New Jersey, and by electronic mailing to the citizen of Morris County in the Daily Record newspapers, through posting on the town website and by filing a copy of same with the town clerk. Members of the public were also permitted to submit written comments prior to the meeting via mail or email, which will be read during the public comment period. All public comments, whether during the public portion of the meeting or submitted beforehand, shall be limited to no greater than 3 minutes. At this time, we will move on to our various committee reports, starting with our administrator, Neil Henry.
Thank you, Mayor. In addition to facilitating and attending meetings of the individual subcommittees and working on the various components of this evening's agenda, I've worked on the following since our last council meeting of February 3rd. Interviewed one candidate for the position of in-house town engineer and received 7 proposals from potential third-party engineers. Work continues to identify any potential savings with going the in-house engineer route versus third-party consultant. More on that to follow. Based on mandates from the DEP, administration has started work on putting together communiques that would be prohibiting commercial vehicles from using our recycling center. Our target date on that to take effect is April 1st. And as I said, we're preparing communiques, and we will share more of that in the next couple of weeks or so. Working in conjunction with our town attorney and our town planner to put together a timeline for the remaining part of the year on what needs to be done relative to the 4th round of affordable housing obligations, which are being required of the town by the state of New Jersey. Veterans Banner Committee met last week for the first time this year. We need to start planning our banner placement for the year. The committee is still in need for about 60 pictures of individuals whose names appear on the monument in front of Town Hall. There will soon be a list of names and pictures the committee is still seeking placed on our website. I would ask members of the public to take a look at that list because we need help getting pictures and information on these individuals so we can accelerate the process of placing the banners. And then finally, work continues on managing a number of matters related to personnel and other matters of litigation. That completes my report this evening.
Thank you. Any comments or questions?
Yeah,
Sure.
just one question. Thank you. Is, with the unusually, I suppose, now snowy winter, I've heard from a number of people who have challenges, with moving their car to municipal lots and then getting back home, particularly older folks and people with some physical disabilities. So just wondering if we can take a look and see if there's any town resources or things we might be able to do to help people and who have to move their car and then, get back home.
I can certainly check that out, Ed. I'd check that with the risk manager on insurance, logistics on timing, et cetera, et cetera. But I'd be happy to check that out. Ben.
Thank you. I think we bought ourselves time with this big storm on Wednesday not happening.
Maybe it won't snow again.
Yeah.
There's a kiss of
We'll
death.
see.
Thank you.
We just clinched it.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Ben, maybe private citizens could put together kind of a buddy system, call a friend, come get me kind of a thing,
Yeah, I think that's happening. I think what I'm hearing is that it's, to just rely on that is not necessarily good enough. And I think if there's a way for us to do it in a way that obviously protects the town,
Mhm.
I think it's an important thing for us to do.
Okay. Yeah.
So I appreciate you looking into that, Neil.
Yep, you're welcome.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, we'll move on to finance personnel. Councilmember
All
Weissman.
right, so the big thing right now, we're deep in addition to some of the interviews and things that Mr. Henry mentioned, deep in budget meetings. And I want to thank members of the committee. We've been meeting multiple times a week sometimes, really delving into all of both the operating budget as well as capital budget. So I think over the next, coming weeks, we have a lot more to report and share, and, happy to have conversations individually with anyone on the council, anyone in the public who wants to learn more about the budget process, specifically where we are. Also looking for where the right moment and opportunities are to bring the entire council into those conversations around the budget. But it's going well. I thank you Neil, Mike Yazdi, department heads, everyone is working hard to in a really difficult budget year, to be thoughtful about what they need and how we can continue to provide real value. So thank you to the committee, council members Balin, Meehan, and Mayor Lynch, and thank you to everyone's been a part of it. But some deep conversations, a lot going on around that, and more to come real soon.
Thank you. Any comments or questions for Councilmember Weissman? Seeing none, we'll move on to police. Councilmember Meehan.
Thank you, Mayor. We met last week and the primary topic was budget, going over actually inventory of all the equipment they have and then looking at what needs are going to be happening going forward. And the secondary topic was, again, new hires, getting some new officers in line in the department. There's actually something on the agenda tonight to go over. So everything that is moving forward. We are going to be looking at the park and dog or pet ordinances at the park. So we're going to be reviewing that, make sure those are nice and tightened up. So more to be discussed as we go forward. Thank you.
Any comments or questions for Councilmember Meehan? Give him another chance. Recreation, Councilmember Meehan.
Excuse me. Likewise, rec department met last week. Camp registration is open. The early bird special ends May 1st. So if you're looking to get your kids in camp, take advantage of the pricing discount that's going on now. Also, the camp is looking to hire camp counselors. So if you have anybody interested, any of your kids are looking to work at the camp, go on to the Boot and Rec desk and check everything out. The car show is coming up on April 27th. We're looking for trophy sponsors. So if anybody has any companies are looking to do some sponsorship, opportunities are available. Pickleball at John Hill School opens up on March 4th. Spring track is starting on March 30th. So again, the rec department is quite active and busy with a lot of activities. Any questions, reach out to Tracy, our rec director, or go onto online bootandrec.com. Thank you.
Thank you. Any comments or questions, Councilmember Meehan? Seeing none, we'll move on to Board of Education. Councilmember DiVenezia.
Okay, so the meeting on last Monday was a work session. They do meet as committee. They don't have committees right now. They're meeting as committee as a whole. So there's a lot of discussion about the budget, but just very quickly, there was some talk about the girls basketball team at John Hill School did quite well this year. Tomorrow night, senior versus faculty basketball game at the Booton High School. The wrestling continues. I think they're into sectionals now. Let's see. There was some concern about federal budget cuts and how they would affect Booton in years moving forward, especially in the area of special education. But the feeling is that this year is okay, and next year will be what we will see what next year bears. Let's see. And then the rest of the meeting mostly was discussion about the budget and, okay, so the superintendent Valet talked about the scores that are coming in, that our test scores are actually ahead of where they were pre-pandemic in some grade levels. And I don't have those numbers in front of me because I didn't write them all down. And the enrollment numbers are kind of holding steady, that there is a big bump at grade 3, but then they're back down to 4 sections per grade. And then there's the big item in the budget is there are some facility upgrades that are and repairs that are necessary. They're going to be quite expensive, but they are going to attempt to keep the cost as low as possible by seeing what can be done to either defer the cost or to defer the work. And that is basically it.
Thank you. Any comments or questions for Councilmember DiVenezia? Seeing none, we'll move on to the Green Team. Councilmember Patrick.
All right, as I said last time, we had our first seminar. It was a roaring success. Packed room, bringing in extra chairs to fit everyone. It was really great time. Lots of great questions. We had some resources, some prints, handouts. If you are missed the seminar and you're interested in any of those, contact me. I can get them for you. We still have them all. And then February 27th, so next Thursday, is going to be our next seminar, which is going to be all about recycling. We got Liz Loringer from Bare Minimum, teaming up with someone from the MCMUA. I hope I got that right. And they're going to tell us, the do's and don'ts about recycling, the whys so you can understand those. Cause I know a lot of it, you're like, why can't I recycle this? But this is fine. I know it drives my dad literally insane. So let's get some answers. And then March 27th is going to be our next seminar. We're going to try to stick with the last Thursday of every month in the basement of the library until we outgrow that space. So for any further information, please come see me.
Thank you very much. Any questions for Councilmember Hedrick? No, thank you. Moving on, we'll go to the consent agenda. Can I get a motion to open resolutions 25-68 through 25-77 for just council discussion?
Second, Vincent.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, anybody have comments or questions on the consent agenda?
Yeah, I would like to perhaps take resolution 25-70 off the consent agenda for council discussion. That's the one, mayor and council waiving the residency requirement for employees of the police department and fire.
Or you want to make that motion? Is that how we do this?
I,
Okay.
so I move to take resolution 25-70 off the consent agenda for further discussion.
Second?
I'll second it.
Thank you,
Okay,
John.
all in favor?
Aye.
Done.
Do we have the discussion now or do we do this?
Well, we finished consent and then we go on. If anybody has other questions on the consent agenda, the remaining
Okay.
items on the consent agenda. Seeing none, we'll close council member discussion and can we get a motion to move this forward?
So move.
Wojciechowski, second.
You get a roll call, please?
Ms. Stephen Azia,
Yes.
Mr. Hetrick,
Yes.
Mr. Meehan,
Yes.
Ms. Minson. Yes. Mr. Murray,
Yes.
Mr. Weissman,
Yes.
Mr. Wakilsky,
Yes.
Mayor Lynn.
Yes. Then we will move on to resolution 25-70, resolution of the mayor and council of the town of Booton waiving residency requirements for employees of the town of Booton Police Department and for members of town's volunteer fire department for the town's summer camp program. We open this up for discussion. Motion,
So moved.
Second, Murray.
all in favor?
Aye.
What do you care to discuss, Councilmember?
So I did have a conversation earlier this, excuse me, earlier this week with Tracy Pryor and with Mr. Henry. And I just feel I have no problem with waiving the residency requirement, but I would like data to see if this particular resolution is even necessary. Do we have any police or fire department members who live outside of town, who have children, who are of camp attendance age, who have requested that this waiver be granted in the past? Is there a need? Before we start creating exceptions to our town policies, I think we need to demonstrate that there's a need for them. If there's a demonstrated need, I have no problem. I think that we should have this camp open to those emergency responders and perhaps other individuals as well. But I just think that we're creating an exception where there's no need demonstrated.
Anybody have other comments?
Yeah, the other thing I would add, I'm sorry,
Sure.
is that should data become available and, and if we choose to table this for now, that I think that absolutely I would vote in favor of it, should a need be demonstrated for it.
Yeah, I appreciate your comments, Marie, because my sense is that this is only here because there's a need. So I guess my question to the council and maybe to Neil is where did this or how did this surface? I'm assuming that they needed
This
more
was
support.
really just, Tracy had come to me last week, and this was really just that we thought it was a courtesy. Okay, there are a couple of police officers who have indicated that they'd be interested in taking that up. For far as the fire department, there's probably 150, 200 members. We didn't go and poll each and every member of the fire department. This was really extended as a courtesy in exchange for the service that the fire department and the police department give back to the town. We didn't collect any data. Marie asked me today what numbers I thought. I really don't know, okay? And I don't know if I can get those hard numbers to move this forward. So again, it was just just something we thought we could give back to the police department and the fire department for their service.
Just so I make sure I understand something you said, Neil. Did you say that there are, however, a couple of Boonton police officers who indicated this is something they
Well,
would?
there's a couple of Boonton police. I know one who lives in Rockaway.
Yeah.
Okay, that indicated last year, his child was not old enough to come to camp, but indicated last year that it might be something he would be worth entertaining. He didn't commit to it, but he wanted to know if that option would be
Sure.
available this year.
And we
So,
shouldn't talk about individual people
Right.
up here, but
Right.
but to Marie's question, it sounds like there was some incoming interest.
yes.
Okay.
No, that was not information I had.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know whether there's a specific need or not, but I think it's a courtesy, and I think for those that put themselves in harm's way for our benefit, you know, I would like to extend a courtesy whether it's received or not. So,
Well, I agree. I think, it's just worthwhile putting it in there. That's
Yeah.
good.
well, that's what we got, we can make a motion if we want to pass this, we want to table it.
It's a motion that we adopted.
Sorry to cut you off.
He made a motion to move it.
I'll second the motion. Weissman.
Okay. Can we get a roll call on this, please, Liz?
Sure. Ms. Venezia,
If there is a demonstrated need, yes.
Mr. Hetrick,
Yes.
Mr. Meehan,
Yes.
Ms. Minson,
Yes.
Mr. Murray,
Yes.
Mr. Weitzman,
Yes.
Mr. Wakilsky,
Yes.
Mayor Lynch.
Yes. Okay. New business, ordinance 02-25, introduction title only, an ordinance amending part 2, general legislation, chapter 201-33, handicap parking spaces within the town code of the town of Boonton. Can I get a motion to introduce this?
So moved.
Second,
Get a roll call, please, Liz?
Ms. Venezia,
yes.
Mr. Hetrick,
Yes.
Mr. Meehan,
Yes.
Ms. Minson,
Yes.
Mr. Murray,
Yes.
Mr. Weitzman,
Yes.
Mr. Wakilsky,
Yes.
Mayor Lynch.
Yes. Ordinance 03-25, introduction title only, an ordinance amending part 2, general legislation, chapter 289-15, one-way streets designated within the town code of the town of Boonton. Getting a motion to introduce this, please.
So
So-
move, Wakilsky.
Second, Venezia.
Roll call, please, Liz?
Ms. Venezia,
Yes.
Mr. Hetrick,
Yes.
Mr. Meehan,
Yes.
Ms. Minson,
Yes.
Mr. Murray,
Yes.
Mr. Weitzman,
Yes.
Mr. Wakilsky,
Yes.
Mayor Lynch.
Yes. I would now like to open the meeting up to council member discussions. Any topics or issues you care to raise, you're free to do so.
I have a couple of things. I just noticed specifically Grace Lord Park is looking pretty treacherous and I saw a couple of people walking their dogs and looking a little unstable. I was just curious if there is plans to salt that area, just with the freezing, the warming rains and then the freezing ice overnight. It just seems like that whole area is just looking a little dangerous. So,
I'll make a note, Alexis, and talk to Bob about that in the morning. I know, like, even my backyard is going through the same thing. You can
Right.
Walk on it. So I'll let Bob take it. You're talking about like the trail itself?
Yeah, near the playground and the I want to say pergola, but that's not what it is.
Gazebo.
Gazebo, thank you. And then I just had a quick question for Jake. I should have asked it earlier, but for the green team seminars that you're having, is this a family friendly, meaning can younger people attend or is it designed for adults? I just wanted to get a sense of that.
So I mean, all are welcome. I don't know that younger kids are really, we had a couple like high schoolers there.
Okay.
I don't know that it's going to really hold the attention of like early middle school or younger.
Sure, got it. Okay. That's great, thank you.
Yeah, we did float reaching out to Boot Main Street about trying to do one of the first Saturdays though. So I
That's
think
great.
that might be more of the kid friendly, something a little fun.
That's great.
Any other council comments or topics? Okay, seeing none, we'll close that and open the meeting up to the public. Any members of the public? All two of you. If you wish to come forward, you got 3 minutes.
3.
Oh, Tracy, yeah, you're part of the family. I don't know if you're in public. Okay, they're both passed. At this point, I'd call for motion to adjourn.
That way online?
We don't-
Second.
Oh, okay.
No.
No emails though.
All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Thank you all for coming.